Hi, welcome to
Hi.
Track Girl Summer. I'm your host, Natasha Hastings. This is my co host, Kori Carter, and we are bringing the culture to track and field.
Oh yes. Sorry, I always forget. And I'm like, yeah, keep doing your thing. All right. Trap girl summer. Trap girl summer.
All right, we need to get some folks in here. People are running late to the party. But anyway, follow me, Natasha Hastings, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Follow Kori, the Kori Monster, on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Most importantly, follow Track Girl Summer on Twitter, IG, YouTube. I think we're at like 300 and something subscribers now.
Look at that.
Join the
Doing it.
party. Yes, doing the thing, bringing the content, being consistent, growing. Okay, we appreciate you for the support.
Come
Um,
on, Grace.
we are streaming every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Streaming may not necessarily be live streaming, but we're streaming every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, bringing you the tea, the shenanigans, your favorite athletes, updates, all the things. All right. Unfortunately, our guest for today could not make it. However, we're still bringing the tea and the shenanigans. The show must go on. We will continue with the show and bring y'all the hot topics, and we're going to talk about it. So, lastly, the last bit of tea is to get your t-shirts and your trucker hats from trackgirlsummer.com. All of you that have made your purchases already, we appreciate you. I did a Kori there. The chat distracted me. We appreciate your support. And we would like for you to take a picture wearing your shirt and your hats, tag us, send it to us, email it to us, whatever. Send up a smoke signal so we can feature you on the Fit Check segment. Okay? We appreciate the support. We want to show y'all love. Thank you for supporting Track Girl Summer. TrackGirlSummer.com. All things live there. Our YouTube videos, our content, everything. TrackGirlSummer.com. Thank you for the support. So let's get into the show. And speaking of Fit Check,
I look mad cute today.
you look mad
Like
cute every day.
if we're being honest. It's not my fault. I look like mother. But this little sweatshirt. It says, "There is no finish line." Can you see the hair on the back?
We see the hair.
Some hair. And then I've got some my socks say "just do" this. Well, this one says "just," and the other one says "do it." And I love. You guys know I love an 11. That's my favorite shoe. And Kohu just kept it cute and casual. He said, "Oh, we're doing blue today."
Kovu is
all
a
matched.
staple in the Fit Check now. Okay.
Because he's an icon.
All right. Well, I'm keeping it simple.
The blue on the inner corner of my eyes matches the blue on his little.
We're not doing this
buckle.
today.
It's giving very Renaissance dog. You know those how the little pooches used to wear the little collars, do the Renaissance in a Renaissance painting.
No.
Right, Kovu. You know exactly what I'm talking about. He's giving high class. He's giving regal. He's giving better than these other dogs. So.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm giving y'all, she has class tonight. Had to drop the baby off at school, cook lunch, all the things. So still rocking the same hair, war paint on the lips, 49 on the lashes, 400mdiva.com. Track Girl Summer t-shirt. Yes, I will be promoting on campus today, and a little mom sweater because it's a little chilly in here. That is the Fit Check.
It is. That's Kobu's auntie. Who's a Fit Check.
Guys, remember to share and like. Bring some folks to the party. Share and like this link. Subscribe to the channel. And like the video so that we can, it's our lunch break, lunch party. We're going to get into the things.
Yes.
So
Um,
starting off, oh, you go ahead.
well, I just wanted to say, like, disclaimer: this is not going to be an hour-long show because we had a whole show planned with David Oliver, and then all of a sudden things had to change. So we adapt and evolve, but
Yeah, but
we
also the show doesn't always have to be an hour long. We can give a wham bam punch in 20 minutes and it still be great content. So, you know, we're
it
going we're
is
going to roll with the
what
punches.
it is today.
We're coming with the tea.
Um, Nicole took our first topic. She
She
already
took our
is
first
ready
topic.
with the tea.
Ready for the tea. Ready for the tea. Did I do that? Okay. Okay. So, yes, Coach Nicole, we saw the reports. According to Love B. Scott, Miss Sonia Richards has been testing for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know about you, but I'm a Housewives junkie. I love
Same.
Atlanta. However, Beverly Hills is my favorite right now, and Atlanta has been kind of, it needs a little zhuzhing. And I watch like the cult following YouTubers who like break it down, and they've been talking about, they want some more actual wives on the show. Check. They want a little bit of drama, of course, and Sonia has experience previously with the Glam and Gold. I was about to call it real estate reality show that she did a few years ago with her family, and she has TV experience and she knows how to bring the fun and bring the drama. So I don't know. I'm here for this. How do you feel about it? How do you guys feel about Sonia possibly joining Real Housewives of Atlanta? Do you believe it?
Um, I'm excited about it if it is true. I am a Bravo junkie as well because, like, I enjoy a Real Housewife situation after practice because after training, my brain is like a fog and I can't like focus on a storyline, on a plot. I'm just like, let me watch these middle-aged women fight over, I don't know, like you brought a birthday gift to my birthday. Like I love that it's like, and it gives me a sense of like self-esteem because it's like, Kori, yes, you are a hot mess, but you aren't 50 fighting at brunch. And I carry that with me, and that's why I love watching the Real Housewives. As far as Sonia Richards Ross, I'm here for it. I feel like she has a personality that is big enough to hold her own with the Atlanta ladies. I'm really excited to see her go head to head with Kenya. I want, because Kenya loves to come for the new girl, and dare I say, she loves to come for a pretty girl. Like I feel like she gets very intimidated by like a strong, pretty woman. And I feel like Sonia is not one to be messed with. So it will be interesting. I agree that the storylines have kind of fallen off because, except for my queen Portia, because Portia, but she did her dirt off camera. But she really was like, I'm gonna bring this girl on the show and then I'm gonna take her man. But um, yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see who they like fake make Sonia's friend to bring her on the show. Like, who do you think is going to be the gateway wife?
That's a good question because there are the person that I see it for is Portia, only because speaking of age, like Portia's the one that she's closest to in age. So that's the one that kind of makes sense. Although Candy also makes sense because Candy's like a businesswoman and we know that Sonia's like a serial entrepreneur and like doing
Mm-hmm.
so even if like Candy's like a business advisor, that makes sense too. I don't know, that's a really good question.
Here's the thing: I ain't having Portia bring me on the show after she went and stole that girl's man. Mm-mm. And I love Portia,
But I also
but
think Sonia and Ross are strong enough that she's not worried about that. But Yeah, that
That's true.
that whole
No, I
situation
don't, and
is
I
shady.
don't
But there's also reports that Portia might not even be coming back. So that's why I was kind of like, it makes sense for it to be Portia. But then I don't know if she's one of those that's not coming back.
I also wouldn't trust my hypothetical man around Kenya after the way she came at Apollo with Phaedra, because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
one thing Kenya does not do is respect a marriage. And um, I just feel like Aaron's also not like one of these old, men that some of these girls be bringing around. Like, if, you know, they might try to push up on him, like we saw what happened with Apollo. So I don't know, but
I
I'll
don't
be
know.
watching if it happens.
I'll be watching
Tune in
regardless.
every Sunday.
Well, let me take that back, because honestly, last season, apart from Bolo, I was kind of like over it. Apart from Bolo Gate, it didn't really seem like there
Bullet
was much
wasn't
going
real.
on.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what happened. The only thing that happened was after the show.
Right.
Can you
So
got on my nerves, like always.
got on my nerves big time. But yeah, I'm here for Sonya being on the show. I think it'll be especially cool to now see, like, Glam and Gold was cool to see her in her family element, but also still training. And like now, I mean, I think she brings so much more in terms of like what she's doing business wise, Mommy Nation. And then I also think that this is something that, although kind of distant, might be good for the sport. People might, their interest might be piqued in the sense that she's also an NBC broadcaster. So even, showing that side of what she's doing now off the track, I'm here for it. I think it'll be a fun experience for Sonya. It'll be fun to watch, and hopefully it's a win for track and field as well.
And someone said people will fall in love with Sonya's personality if it comes down what they decide in the editing room. That is very true.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the reasons why I'm like, I don't know if I could ever do a reality TV show, even though I feel like I'm an open book anyways. But the way they can chop and screw stuff and make you a villain, and they can take a little thing and make it into a big thing.
Yeah.
I don't like
very,
like
very
this.
true. That's
What
very,
little
very
bits
true.
of, like,
Oh, yeah, that's right. NBC does own Bravo. You're right. You are right about that. So now it makes even more sense. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, there must be something to these rumors then. That makes, yeah. Thanks for that. NBC sure does own. I don't know how much they crisscross, but it would seem like that. Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, Love B. Scott usually is pretty good, but that's what the blogs are saying.
Would you ever do like a reality TV show?
I would. I guess I could say this now because it's years past. I actually met with the producers for Sonya's show because at one point they were talking about bringing on other athletes. So there were a couple of other female athletes that they interviewed, and then I don't really know what ended up happening with it, but I would just fear, my reputation means a lot to me, and I think the underlying factor would be how much control I would have over it. Be going back to the point about, like, once you sign on the dotted line and film, the production company has the power to do whatever they want to with that footage. And we've seen where one situation can look totally different on screen based on how it's edited down. And I don't know. Like, I don't know. So on the one hand, I would say, yeah, it seems like it's cool watching it. It seems fun and, but on the other hand, I'm like, I don't know.
Someone said if you were to create an American track and field reality TV show, who would you want to see on it? Okay, so here is what I think should be a thing but it wouldn't be like Real Housewives. It would be more like what's that one ESPN show where they like go into training camp with the football player?
Oh, oh my gosh. I know what show you're talking about too. Somebody in the chat has to know what it is.
But like we would do like a different like each season would be a different training group. So you would go to like a John Smith, you would go to a Flo's training camp, you would go and you would go through a season with a training group.
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. Thank you. And because I feel like people don't understand, like if y'all saw the workouts, the way we're laid out at the track, the day-to-day grind, I feel like I would love to expose like that part, and even just like what you when you're not on the track and like when you're at home. I think that would be a fun show. I wouldn't want to do like one where it's just like, because I don't think a Real Housewife format would work for track athletes, just because I ain't going to brunch every 2 days. I don't have time for that. Like I'm not going to your made up event, or like we don't have time to go on that. Like guys, I was just thinking, let's go on a trip. It's time to get away. Like we don't have time for that. But I think doing like a behind the scenes day-to-day grind would be fun.
Yeah.
As a show. And like you would get a little drama because, you know, every training group, there's always something that happens every now and then, but that would be my show.
Okay. Well, remains to be seen.
Do you want to know my other show I would like to create? Actually, you'd be a great candidate for this show that I've had in my head for like years, right? It would be okay, it's The Bachelorette, but it's called Combine for Love. So basically, like instead of doing like little mini challenges, you would get a lot of guys, and in order to like win a date, you'd be like, okay, today we're seeing like who can max out on bench press, or like we're doing like a 40, or we'd have like a 3-on-3 basketball game, right? And then you would like, instead of a rose ceremony, you have cuts. Mm-hmm. And I feel like guys would watch it because you'd be sitting on the couch and be like, I could definitely lift more than that guy, or da-da-da-da-da. And like you would like come in for the competitive aspect, and then like the girls would come in for like the romance aspect of it, and it'd be a really fun show. So I'll set it up.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Next topic. Guys, so
I don't want to do this.
I mean, it's just oh my goodness, where did it go? What did I do? Where is it not?
I don't.
I don't think I. All right, so people have been chatting about an alleged clapback. I'm saying alleged because I don't really feel like she's talking to these people. So for further reference, you guys have probably already seen Usain Bolt was asked a question in an interview about Sha'Carri Richardson, to which he responded something along the lines of like, you know, she should perform more, talk less, something along those lines. And you know, people, of course, Twitter, Instagram, in the comments, and then apparently Sha'Carri reposted a comment from the Shade Room, the Shade Room's post of what Usain had to say. Now, I say it's not a clapback because she's not adding the people. And when I say the people, there was also like, did she clap back at Allison? I don't think anyone's clapping at her to begin with. I think there's a difference when someone is asking you a question and you are responding to said question than you just picking up and going into an interview and speaking about that person or tweeting about that person. Or I think the question was asked about these people. So I'm going to say that these things couldn't be directed at those people. I don't know. Kori's like, we really don't want to talk about this, honestly, because it's just like, here we go. But you see how Kori feels about it. Do you guys feel like it's a clapback? I can't really. The people say skip it. So does Kori. Well, while it's quiet, let me take this time to remind y'all to share, like, and bring some folks to the party. What? Go ahead.
Here's what I will say. You know, I'm not gonna say anything because I really just don't care. It's like
the thing about it is I care, but I don't care because I'm like, I enjoyed the spiciness of it all at the beginning. I was like, "Ooh, this is fun. She's bringing eyes to the sport. She's exciting. Like there's stuff happening. There's stuff to talk about off of the track, which is the thing that we talk about. Like, well, you guys aren't interesting. Like, what stories are you guys giving us off the track?" And she gave us something, and then now it's like, have we gone too far? But also, like, it's also kind of like I poked at you, and then when I responded to the pokage, you're now mad at my response. But you can't tell somebody how to respond to, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna put the things out there, then I don't know that you should be so defensive when you get a response to what you've put out there. So I don't know. This is one that we're never going to win.
I just feel like, and who am I to say this? Because I don't have her platform, and so I can't tell you what to do with it. Mm-hmm. But for her, like, mental health, and like happiness, like, I just feel in my life it is way more important to focus on the positives and the people who support you instead of the negatives. And I feel like there is something to be said about when Allison did her interview, when you say Bolt did their interview, they did say complimentary things about her.
What they said was with love.
And I get it, because it's like, you can say 100 nice things about me, people, and if you say one bad thing about me, that's the thing that's going to
sticks.
But I don't think they're trying to say it in a I know for a fact what Allison said. I don't even know how you got negative out of that. And technically, like you said, she's not adding people, but you're saying enough to where people are putting dots together, whether you add them or not. And at some point, you're going to be in the same spaces as these people, because track is a very small community, and the people. I'm not saying, well, the people. I'm not going to say the people she's talking about, because she didn't technically say their names, but like Usain Bolt and Allison, I think, are people who, if anyone could understand the amount of attention that she's getting and the amount of pressure that she has, I feel like they are two people that could definitely understand and could definitely help her figure out how to navigate. Because a lot of times when people are saying things, it's like, you're not in my shoes, you don't know, like, it's easy to talk about it when you've never been in this position. But those two people have been and could be a resource for her. And I would hate for her to push away people that could actually be an asset to her and actually I really do believe that they want to see her win. Yeah. And so sometimes it's like, you have to put your guard down and not be defensive and really take in what people are trying to say, because it's like, look, I've been there. I know what you're going through. like,
Mhm.
let me help you through the situation. And at some point you're going to be on the same track as these people in the same room. Like, you were just at the Met Gala with Allison, and like, it's just like, I don't know, but I also think it's she's part of a younger generation that, like, the way that they communicate is through social media. And maybe I'm old and out of touch, because I'm like, in my mind there's a way to like navigate stuff like this. There's a way to like approach situations like this. And for me, I wouldn't do it through social media. But I also know she's part of a generation where like that is
Well,
how
I think
things are
that
handled.
as you bring that up, that brings something to my mind as well. And I guess goes back to why I'm like, this can't be a clapback, because someone's comment earlier about wanting support, the same support in private as in public. And real talk, like, we all have the same access to each other, And so I feel like if you feel a
How do you think we get
way,
people on the show?
hmm? Yeah, like
How do
how
you think
we
we're
how
getting
we
people
get
on this
everybody
show?
on the show. Like, a lot of the people that we got on the show was sliding in the DMs like, "Hey, would you come on the show?" And a lot of times we expect it to be no's, because we ourselves are like, "Oh my God, you're such and such, you're Gail Devers, you're Edwin Moses. Like, what do you mean, yes?" And then they're like, "Absolutely." Like, so when I say like we all have the same access to one another, like, yes, obviously Usain and Allison know who Sha'Carri is, and again, this goes back to why I'm like, I don't think it's a clapback. Maybe we're reading too much into this, but for your clapback to be, you could just say something to me. You could also, instead of sending these subliminals, go directly to these people in their DMs. If it means that much to you, that it's like, basically what I'm saying is, have that same energy. You want them to come at you privately, then have that same energy. But the energy that you're putting out right now is in the Twitterverse, is in the social media. So if you're getting that energy back, and again, these people are just answering questions.
That's the
They're
thing. It's
not.
like, you're a hot topic, and it's like, and I can't. Let's be honest. It's not like they're getting on Twitter and being like, "Let me tell you what a Sha'Carri Richardson did." Like, they're not doing that. They're getting
No.
interviews, answering a question, and I can't, like, they're answering these questions with grace and love and humility. I don't know what more you want from people other than to be like, no comment,
Yeah.
which we saw the Jamaican girls do, and I don't think she appreciated that either. So I
And you know what?
don't
To
know.
be fair, I do think that she gets a lot of flack for some of the things that she says. And I think what she gets flack for is the way that it's packaged. And we've talked about like being palatable for the masses. But she does, there were interviews at Prefontaine where she sung the high praises of Elaine and Shelly-Ann. And again, it wasn't necessarily packaged the way that people want to see it, but she still paid her respects to those women. And that didn't get as much attention as,
And I would love to
So
have her. I would love to have her on a show, because I am a big advocate of, like, yes, we have this show and we talk about what's going on in track and field, but I loved hearing from the horse's mouth, because it's like all we're sitting here doing is speculating, and I would just like love to actually have a conversation
mhm.
with her, because I feel like everyone should have the right to speak their piece. And like we said, like, on social media, things can get misconstrued, and people can interpret it in their own ways, and that's why we're gonna work to get her on the show if we can. Like I said, like, I want to have Francine or Samanya on the show, just because, like I said, I'm sitting here talking about this situation that has really no effect on me, but like,
Mhm.
I'd love to hear like their opinions, because I think that's the whole point of the show, is like I would love our show just to be a platform for people to like have their story told and to elevate voices, not necessarily like we have our own opinions, but
Mhm.
like I said, like, and this is not me coming at you, but like, I don't care what my opinion is or your opinion is when it comes to like the sudden death rule. Like, I want to know what the field of athletes who it's actually affecting. Like,
Mhm.
that's really what I want.
Mhm.
But I feel like I said, I didn't want to talk about this in the first place. So let's move on to the next topic.
As we move on, let it be clear that we are like Usain and Allison, speaking about her with love, want to see her do well. No shade from over here at all. And like I said, I don't even know that I believe that they're clapbacks.
I actually listened to this album. Usain Bolt has dropped an album, which I didn't even know this was happening, but I listened to it while I was getting ready for the show just to like see what was going on. To be fair, I don't really listen to a lot of Caribbean music for the most part, although there are a couple songs that I'm trying to learn how to whine to. I like a good beat, so if it has a good beat, I'll listen to it. But I did listen to this album to get ready. I think the production level was there. Like I was like, it wasn't like, oh, this is my jam. But like I said, this isn't really my genre of music. But I couldn't say like, oh, this is trash. This is bad. Like I was like, beat was nice, production was there. He had a lot of features on it. To be fair, I had a hard time because it's Usain Bolt and NJ, and I couldn't figure out when Usain Bolt was on the track and when it was NJ. But well, if someone wants to fly me out, I'll go. I'll get on the island. I've been doing my little abs. I can walk on a beach and in my little bikini. But yes, I was here for it. Usain Bolt, like, you know, I love seeing athletes transform themselves and follow their passions outside of the track. We talked to Will, and he's been in the booth dropping stuff. Omar Craddock, aka Craddy Daddy, I think is Mr. Ope on Spotify. They have he has music. I'm trying to think of someone else. Oh, Sandy and Noah. What's that? How does it go? I always want to say like a chandelier, but it's not like, it's like a souvenir. I was like, I didn't know Sandy had little vocals. So I'm here for it.
Okay. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but I am here for the 14 tracks. I feel like music these days, people put together 8 songs and they call it an album. Okay, 14 tracks. If I'm going to spend my money,
Chris Brown, then you put together 46 songs. I'm like, how much does it get through this?
Besides Chris Brown, you know, these albums these days are short, and this is a full compilation of music. And like you said, shout out to Usain. I mean, when you're Usain Bolt, you can do whatever you want. Go play football, put out an album, have Secret Twins on us. Like, you could just do whatever you want to. Okay.
Can I just put something out into the atmosphere?
Sure.
I've always wanted to be a video vixen. Okay. Do I have the BBL for it? No. Do I have anything to throw? No. Do I have the face of an Instagram model? No. But do I want to be in Usain Bolt's country music video? Like, yeah.
Okay. Please. Next story.
Natasha, let me live my dreams. Like, I have goals and aspirations, and I'm just saying Usain Bolt, like, if you need like someone just like in the background of the background, like you need someone who's like walking on the beach and you really don't see her face, pick me. I just want to go to Jamaica because I love it there. But yes, we're gonna get into my favorite subject of all time.
Let me just start this off with Mama is busy. Okay. Mama came back from Tokyo and she was like, Mama still has to work. But listen, when I tell you Mama has her foot on our necks, okay, I can't breathe. I can't come up for air. I can't.
Scoliosis.
Wait, I'm sorry. That was insensitive.
I heard it.
I'm so sorry. I genuinely apologize for no, like that. I heard that back in my head. That's not what I meant. Allison is applying the pressure. All due respect. Ooh, okay. Yes, she's booked and busy.
1 second. I have to go grab an apple juice. I just got to alert my blood sugar is dipping. Sorry, guys. This is my reality.
It's not even funny, but
It's not funny because I might pass out.
we are working on getting Allison on TGS. But as you can see, she has been booked and busy. She left the Met Gala. She's presenting at the Emmys. She was presenting with Jessica Long, a Paralympian herself. Look at them there, both serving. I mean, I have no words. Allison is wearing a Reem Acra gown.
Let me tell you, she said, let me show you this body yada yada. And let's not forget, this is my trying to get my little sugar up. That times 100, most influential, and as I can say personally, how much influence she has over my life specifically. Sorry.
She's doing it.
I'm sorry to be you guys. I'm trying not to die. Her agent is her brother,
Wes Felix,
and he has been booked with. We're trying Wes. He's also my agent. I'm trying to get him on the show as well because he has. If you don't know Wes's resume, he has Allison, me, Sydney, just signed a thing, Eric Kennard, Ashley Henderson. I'm forgetting someone. There was a time when it was just me and Alice. There was a time it was just Alice, and then there was a time when it was just me and Alice, and then now he has a little whole stable of but I'm very happy for my friend. I feel like she just carries herself with such grace and beauty, and I feel like she's always been a star in track and field. I call her Track Yonsei. But I feel like the outside world is embracing her outside of track and field. Like, she's getting to do a lot of things, and it's rightfully deserved. And I just am happy because they say to never meet your heroes because they will disappoint you, but Allison has never been that. And she just deserves it all. You guys know, I'm a stan. Like we friends, but I'm really a fan. Like, first and foremost. I feel like Allison would never do Real Housewives.
She would never do Real Housewives, but also she would be a Beverly Hills housewife.
Yeah, and I just don't see her on that show.
I mean, I think that she and Garcelle would get along nice, though.
Yeah, but you see how I feel like Garcelle is not meshing with the group for obvious reasons.
So that they can have their own little alliance.
She needs to have like a Real Housewives of Baldwin Hills. That's what I want.
Okay, yeah. That would rock. That would rock.
It'd be her, Garcelle, Issa Rae, and I need someone like, I'll get back to you, but that's what I want. I really want Allison to like be on Issa Rae, to get to go to Issa Rae's yacht party, because that's a life goal of mine. But if like Allison achieves it, I'll be happy. You know, those are the things I want for her, so I can live vicariously. But yeah, I feel like what I appreciate about Allison is she is using these platforms to talk about meaningful things that matter. She is an advocate for women in sports. She's an advocate for Black mothers, especially when it comes to pregnancies. And like, she's an advocate for women having ownership with her own brand. And I feel like I watched her interview with Tracy Ellis Ross, and she talked a lot about, getting into spaces and using your voice to enact change. And see, I told you guys that's my sugar dropping. And I don't know. It's like, I think a lot of times you can get to a space and only think about yourself. And she is being like, no, I'm going to use this to reach back and like pull up others and like create spaces for others. Like Natasha, she's like, I'm going to make sure I know how much it's a struggle being a mother and an athlete. I'm going to make sure we give grants to other female athletes. So, I love it. I love it. You guys already know that. I love it.
All right. Well, shout out to Allison being booked and busy and looking good doing it. We're going to wrap up the show with one last hot topic.
We have another hot topic?
Yeah. The internet has recently been ablaze. But I think the overarching theme to discuss out of said internet situation is, are track athletes being taken advantage of? We've talked about, this being, although a career, it's not something that we can retire from. Kori is really...
I'm so sorry. I'm really trying to get my diet. Actually, I've been kicking diabetes, but would I say that I'm the best at diabetes? Maybe, because my sugar stays in range, but
not today.
Right now, today it is trying to really get me.
No, unfortunately, if you are just joining, David Oliver was not able to make it today, but we still brought the tea and shenanigans. So replay crew, if you were here late, we talked about the things, and we're getting into it. So now we're closing out with our last topic about, I think the bigger conversation here is TV rights and streaming rights, and the fact that, platforms have the rights to these races, and athletes are not allowed to post their own races, especially if they've been shown on TV. There are some meets that allow it, and then there are some that don't. I don't know that it's a meet thing more than the platforms that own the rights to these things. Elaine Thompson posted her race when she ran the 10-6, and she was striked and told, you got to take that down. So there's been a lot of...
sorry, I just wanted to... Mark asked if did y'all follow the race take versus flow track controversy, and that this is kind of part of it.
Yeah, we're just taking like the larger issue out of that controversy.
Yeah, and I feel like it's easy, and I feel like I'm always on the naive side in that, like, I'm like, well, this isn't fair. Like, you guys did this interview on me, and now I got to pay just to watch myself, and I'm the talent, and when did I sign off that, like, if I come to this meet, I don't have the rights, you have the rights to my image, and I can't even like post my race. But I think, Natasha, one thing I really appreciate about you, and I feel like I've learned a lot from you, is like, you really understand how like the business side of things work and are able to break it down. So sorry, I just wanted to, because I feel like people in the chat are asking about that. And I feel like you also understand the rules about it from other sports, because I was like, well, football's not like this. And you're like, actually.
And I think that, D-Man, I love your comment, because I think this is where the issue actually lies, is that we are not compensated enough. Now, the question is, does the revenue exist for us to be compensated more? And that's a different conversation. But if you look at if you go look at any football player, if you go look at any basketball player, they're not posting live footage of their games. And that is because those networks and those production companies, the NBA, the NFL, they own those rights. Now, the difference is they're compensated handsomely enough that they're not tripping about it.
So what happens when like I see like on IG like highlight reels of like, oh, look at this dunk, and how does that like, you know?
Yeah. I think that there is a difference in how much of it is shown, and also I'm also realizing that timing might have something to do with it too, because if you post something that's a day old and it's still available on TV, the network wants those profits, right? But I'm seeing if you post something that's 5 years old, nobody's messing with you. If you're posting something. So I'm curious to know, and this is me speculating, I'm curious to know if there is a timing thing on, how old the race has to be, or how old the footage, has to be, or I don't know. Because I have noticed that recently you won't really see like recent stuff unless it's actually the network itself, the company that owns those rights, that's posting those things, versus if it's something that's 5 or 10 years older and you're posting a throwback of like, remember when I had this big play, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. I don't know.
And you made a really good
all the answers to the questions. But yes, Aisha coming through with the facts. Leagues like the NBA and NFL have the collective bargaining agreement with the respective unions, so it might be covered there as well. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also hard for us to unionize because like
it's a global sport. It's not just
it's a global sport, and then it's like individual. Each meet director owns their own meet, even though they're part of the Diamond League. It's all types of convoluted, as my mom would say. But you also made a really good point when we were talking the other night, and now like I swear, like my sugar's dropping, my brain is not working as well.
Are you saying in terms of like paying to watch the?
Yeah, because I was saying like, oh, like I'm the talent here. How can you tell me I can't post myself running when like? And you were like, but you don't own the race. Like, you don't own the rights to like it's other athletes who are also in your race competing against you. And I was like, oh, well, you're kind of right about that. Mm-hmm. And so, and there are
like the product is the full race. From lane 1 to 8, the sponsor who sponsored that race, like that is the product. You are a part of the product.
Yeah.
But the bigger product is the full race. Yeah.
And I think athletes can get creative, like how you said you vlogged and you were like, I vlogged everything except the race. And I've seen
yeah, I've gone to track meets, and my agent and it, in this instance, it was my agent's track meet. My agent was the meet promoter, and he owned the track meet, and he said, you can vlog whatever you want to, but don't vlog any of the track meet, because that I sold to, he didn't say it in these words, but essentially NBC owns the track meet, but everything else you can show, you can vlog. So
a good example of it is Felicia Brown does really good vlogging. If you watch her, she's a sprinter, and she has had to like also pick up becoming an Amazon Prime driver. But you guys, I always like putting out like telling other athletes stuff so you can fall in, and she has some really good stories as well. But I've noticed that she vlogs her meets, but then she won't show the race. It's just like she just can only show like the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when it comes to like doing shows like this, like we talk about the races, but we obviously aren't allowed to show clips, and there's a way to,
and when we do, we get striked.
Yeah, try to do some loophole it's around it. But here's the thing is like the rules are the rules are the rules, as much as like we can work to change them. But I think if someone owns that race, it's in the right to tell you what you can and cannot do with that footage.
Especially if And this is not always true, though, if you've been compensated. And this is where I say the issue really lies. Because, yes, you're compensated. We're not compensated enough. And you know, it's up in the air, like how much are these broadcasters profiting off of owning these products, and we're not seeing a share of it. What we're being compensated, how much of a share is that of the revenue? But I think that's the larger, to me, the question. And maybe because I'm just somebody that I want to know how much money's going in my pocket. So at the end of the day, like this is what we're arguing about, right? And I think the larger argument is, if I'm showing up and I'm running for an appearance fee and prize money, that the appearance fee and prize money is a portion of that revenue. And that's basically what, going back to what Aisha was referencing in terms of the NBA and the NFL having collective bargaining and they get a piece of the revenue, that's where the disconnect is, in my opinion.
Yeah. I want to like get to some questions that's in the chat. One, Felicia's channel is called Fee Fe Edwards, and or you can look all of her videos or say like it's me Fee Fe. And someone asked, is there an appearance fee on top of prize money? Do you leave the meet empty-handed if you don't place? There is appearance fee, but it's not guaranteed. So depending on who you are, you'll get.
But you also know your appearance fee before you show up, and that's where the athlete does have some. We'll say that the athlete has some autonomy, but then there's also like, but are you really not gonna? Because you don't have to show up if you're not happy with the appearance fee. You don't have to show up, and that, or no appearance fee at all. And that's where, again, the issue lies, because I've been in those meetings where it's presented like, hey, let's get together and let's do such and such because there's no track meet without us. And there are certain athletes in the room that's like, that's great for you to say that, but if I don't run, if I don't show up, I don't have anything to put on the table. So
because some athletes have shoe deals. So, and some athletes don't. So technically, I mean, part of your shoe deal is I have to run an X amount of meets. But like, if I don't show up to this meet, my bills are still paid this month because I'm still getting income from my shoe company. Where someone else is, if I don't run at this meet, I'm not eating this month. And that's also part of the reason why it's hard for us to come together as a collective, because at the end of the day, if you're on the Lakers, whether you are LeBron James or you sit on the bench, you're getting paid to be on the team regardless. So when it comes to like, okay, now let's negotiate on some other things, you don't have to worry about like, hey, I'm not going to eat, you know? And also, if you're on the bench on the Lakers, LeBron James being successful helps you.
Right.
Whereas me, Sydney McLaughlin, Delilah breaking the record, doesn't really put money in my pockets because we're not on the same team. It does help, I think. I do think it helps me because it elevates my event specifically, you know. But at the end of the day, like, we're Team USA, but like, even Team USA winning the medal count, there's no like, if Team USA wins the medal count, now every Team USA athlete gets X amount of dollars. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that really joins us together other than every, you know, major championships. If you're on the relay, in the relay pool, you can get, that's the only way like someone else's performance can help yours. But even then, there's a fight to get in the relay pool. So it's just a lot of like things that pit us against each other that makes enacting collective change difficult. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying there's a lot of things.
It can be done because there's two things that I want to say. First, the agents charge between 15 and 20%. Do you know the history behind why the agents charge 15 to 20%?
can I say no, but can I also say something to athletes who are signing with agents right now?
Mm-hmm.
So on the I don't know if it's still, but the last time I checked on the IAAF website, they had a contract that's like the standard contract for an athlete agent agreement, which, and in that contract, I think it is 20%. You do not have to sign that contract. You can write your own contract. You can negotiate a lower percentage for your agent. You can also negotiate, like, hey, and I advise a lot of athletes to do this. My contract's only for, like, because what will happen with some athletes is you get with an agent, they negotiate a 4-year deal. Okay, but you have a 1-year contract with you have a 1-year contract with your agent. You decide, hey, I don't want to work with this agent anymore. And they'll put a clause in, well, like, you still have to pay me off of that
For the life
contract.
of this contract. Yep.
Right. So now you're paying this person 20%, but they're not working for you anymore, but you've got 3 more years on this contract that you've negotiated with the shoe company. And now you have to also get a new agent and pay them something because they're not going to work for free. And that pie that you have is getting cut up. I would suggest, instead of doing, hey, you get paid for the life of the contract, if I don't want to work with you anymore, I have a buyout clause. I pay you X amount of money and we cut ties. Because I've even seen an agent who said, I saw an agent who, we're getting way off topic, but I saw an agent, he signed a contract with an athlete. The athlete left him. This athlete got a new contract. So her contract that the agent had negotiated was over. She got a new contract, and that agent was trying to get money for the new contract off the basis that he established the relationship with the contract. So I would just like to say, when
contract is similar.
Comes to this relationship, like, put things in writing, right? Pay the money to hire a lawyer to protect yourself, because who do you think wrote this agent athlete agreement that's on the IAAF website?
So that's the point that I'm trying to get to. The fact that the rate is even that high, and my point being that collectiveness is possible, is once upon a time it was 10%. And what the agents did was the agents got together and said, hey, let's raise our fee. And once all the agents got together and said, we're going to raise our fee, the athletes had no choice because everybody raised their fee. And that's what it was. So the agents managed to get themselves together to say, this is going to be the standard. So it went from 10% to 15 to 20%, right? And someone commented that, basketball is only 3%. Well, again, apples to oranges, because I do agree. I feel like 15 to 20% is high. Even 10% is high. But you're also talking about a business where the majority of the athletes are making $50,000. So they're
the majority
in track and field. The majority of athletes who are being paid, athletes who have contracts, the average is about 50,000. Okay. There's a handful that's in the 6 figures. There's a 1, 2, or 3 that are in the high 6 figures. So 3% of $1 million deal is a lot different than a 20%. So it's a bigger cut of the pie, but it's also like, me going off. It's a lot of you also knowing what you're worth. I'm going off to become a counselor. My fee is going to be a little bit higher. Why? Because of what I bring to the table. And so there's that. There's, again, business is business. We can argue the fact of like, well, the athlete's only making blah, blah, blah. I do this job. This is how much it costs. You have the choice of whether or not you want to pay for this, my services. So there's that side of it. The other thing that I wanted to say that I feel like is now fleeting. I've been seeing this argument about having to pay for subscriptions to watch track meets. And I've had this argument with family and friends over the years. And I'm going to say I feel like that argument is talking out of both sides of your neck. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we have this conversation about elevating the sport, right? How do we elevate the sport? And part of elevating the sport is investing in the sport. And ticket sales and subscriptions is investing in the sport. How many of you that are complaining about having to pay? Now, I'll put it out there. I've seen certain broadcast. I'm not happy with all of the broadcasting services out there. Nobody's perfect, right? But how many of you that are complaining about paying for these subscriptions pay for the NFL package on your cable bill to be able to see all of the football games across the country, not just the regional games? How many of you gladly pay $90 to $150 per game to go watch those games? So now there's one argument that enough of that does not trickle down to the athletes. That's one argument. But there's the other argument that if you're willing to make those investments in these other sports and you love our sport so much, why are you not willing to pay for that same service that you're willing to pay for these other sports? So when I see that argument of like, I shouldn't have to pay for this streaming thing, but how else are we going to get dollars? So I think they're two separate arguments. I think they're two valid arguments. I think we as the athlete deserve a larger piece of the pie. But I also feel like all of those things add into said pie for us to get a piece of that pie. And the advertisers and the meat promoters and the this and the that say, well, we can't pay you because we don't have enough money. We're not filling stands. We're not getting streaming dollars. That's part of it. If that investment, how are we going to get something from a pie if the pie doesn't exist? So
yeah. Yeah. And I agree with you, although I'm frustrated because I am the girl, I am a very frugal person, so I am the girl on my sister's Netflix, on my cousin's Hulu.
Oh, same. My whole family's on my Netflix. I'm on my mom's Hulu account. We share Spectrum. Like, don't get it twisted. This is not me sitting on a soapbox.
So I'm like, and then I'm like, and now you want to pay for me to see me? Like, okay, I'm gonna need a password. I'm gonna need a login. But I'm on this whole thing where I like keep us on time. So it is
overtime.
It is overtime. But I want to say, okay, there's a couple housekeeping things. One, people were asking if we would have college athletes on the show. Would love to do it. Would also love for you guys to comment or put in the chat or comment below what college athletes you would like to see, and we'll work on it because I do think that there are interesting conversations to be had. Two, I really feel as though we need to have a conversation where we do a financial breakdown on being a track athlete, because there are a lot of questions coming in. And I feel like we should have an episode where we just kind of break down like the financial aspect of what it takes to be a track athlete, how we make our money, what expenses we have to cover. And also, I feel as though we have been in this game for a while. Mm-hmm. And I sometimes there are so many things that I'm like, when I talk to athletes going pro, that I'm like, here are things that you need to do to protect yourself, because at the end of the day, these agents are here to help us, but they also have to make money, and part of it is and so you have to do things to protect yourself, and there are caveats that I'm like, that people don't tell you, that dang, I wish people would have told us. I think that is something that we need to do. And there was something else that I wanted to say, but look, Peter saying, look, guys, Kori said that this is only going to be 20 minutes and over. You guys know I'm always lying when I say it's going to be short, so I don't know why you believe me.
Listen, we dragged it out, and at one point you were talking and I typed in the text let's not drag this out. But we still made it to an hour.
Look, first of all, honestly, blame yourself for believing me when I said it was going to be a short episode. At this point, y'all already know the deal. So the only person you really have to blame is yourselves. You guys knew I was lying. But yeah, I think that would be a good thing to just really break this down. And I feel like it could be a really good resource. Maybe we should bring Lauren Williams on for that, because she does.
Oh yeah, yeah. That would be a good
And yeah, I feel like we'll get David Oliver back on the show at some point. I'm sorry that things happen, and we still try to, put together a little show in like 30 minutes. And that is all I have to say for today. I'm gonna close out the show like we always do. Make sure you follow me at Natasha Hastings. Follow me. I said follow me at Natasha Hastings. Follow me at the Kori Monster. Follow Natasha at Natasha Hastings. Follow Tropical Summer. Subscribe. Get yourself a shirt. Get yourself a hat at tropicalsummer.com. Tell your mom to come and join us to the party. We love mothers here. And your daddy, too, if I'm going to be honest. Get everybody involved in Tropical Summer. And someone said they would love to see a show with Anna Cockrell. We already have it. So go back, watch old episodes. And Grant Holloway actually just confirmed last night that he's going to be on the show. We'll be dropping that soon. So we're on the same page, guys. And with that being said, we'll be back on Friday with can you say it? Because I'm going to say it wrong. And they already were talking about how my Jamaican accent is terrible.
Pachi!
Pachi! Did I do it?
It was close. It was good.
Thank you guys for joining us. And don't forget that no matter what time of the year it is, it's always a tropical summer, baby. Bye, guys.
Bye.